I've just been lied to and deceived by production. They told me we're back on in 15. They went, oh no, 3, 2, 1, panic. That's fine. Riku, we're back. We've got another series to go. Yes. One more to go before the day is concluded. Now, we step into Group A. Team Keizo. What's that? Team Keizo? That's not a team. Team Keizo coming up against No Team, No Talent, which their name, of course, you would probably contest given how far through the tournament they have got. Now, I think looking at how these two teams have played so far throughout the competition, there's a lot to be excited about. The only team that either have lost to has been Game Lord so far. They are the team that awaits them in the best of 5 grand final tomorrow. So this one, I'm looking at it and I think it's going to be a pretty close affair.
Yeah, but when we look back at the last month's result, it was No Game, No Talent that was able to 2-0 Team Keizo. But the thing is, there has been a different outcome.
You're
No Game, No Talent.
I know you're thinking of an anime right there. I know exactly which one you're going to as well.
Exactly. You know what's up, does it too? I know. Yeah, No Game, No Talent. Yes, we're able to 2-0 Team Keizo, but the thing is, the fates have changed, basically. I mean, Sunlight was able to triumph over Cut Esports, so maybe the same thing can happen for Team Keizo.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We're straight into Pick a Ban. It is a best of 3, let's not forget as well. It's not a best of 5 like we had in our first series. The winner of this goes on to face Game Lord tomorrow in a grand final that I'm sure is going to be an absolute screamer. Team Keizo starting things off with a ban on Akali. We've seen that going on all throughout the day so far. Garen, the second one to follow up.
This is super interesting because this means either No Team, No Talent will decide to go for a Renekton top or something that they want to propel because they're taking out the big neutralizer right off the bat. Also, the Seraphine ban is super interesting, which means an Olaf pair is immediately -1'd already. So Ziggs as well, they do not want that in the game for sure just because how he takes down towers so fast despite the nerfs in 2.4.
Kind of surprised to see Keizo banning away the center here, given they ran it in both of their games against Game Lord yesterday, but clearly saying we don't want to put that as our first pick, so let's get it taken away. The Fiora going to be the next one that then follows through. Okay, let's see then what the priority order changes to be. I like, by the way, how we saw the Seraphine being the focus ban for Group B as well. It's also come through in Group A, whereas in Group C, we barely saw it at all. Camille, our terror of the first series, is returning once again.
Yeah, this could be flexed either to the jungle or even topside. And I feel like this Fiora ban as well will enable Team Keizo to put that comfortably on the top lane. But in the meantime, for No Team, No Talent, they're going to opt for the Gragas first pick and as well as Solution. So this is their disengage already intact and as well as their early game. So I like this response from Team Keizo. They decided to take out the Braum just to make sure that the Braum and Lucian combo will not be available.
All right, and there's been a go-to pick throughout the competition so far for Team Keizo. The Renekton, again, one of the picks they played in both of their games against Game Lords, so not too surprised to see that one coming through. Braum, a little alternative to what they liked from him before, which was the Galio, so I think here a lean in towards that more beefy front line, a big one for them. Graves kind of increasing in popularity as the day goes through. Galio, we spoke about Galio a lot in our series earlier on today. You're seeing him so much at the moment as well, whether in mid or in support. This one, I imagine, steps into support, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it still could be the mid lane as well. We've seen a couple of Gragas supports coming in, but especially now that the Graves is available, that means that it's going to be a Graves jungle, and then the Gragas could possibly just go anywhere. We'll have to see. Ahri is going to be the finishing touches for Team Keizo's composition, and therefore there's going to be a heavy emphasis on how the charms are going to land. But at the end of the day, Ezreal being locked in by No Team, No Talent. That's going to be a double 80 carry composition, actually, with triple 80 carry, actually, with Graves, Lucian, and Ezreal. So I'm guessing Team Keizo is going to build a lot of armor for this one.
Yeah, I think you're probably looking towards the Graves here and thinking, all right, then with that True Grit, can obviously get himself stacked up a little bit tanky-wise, and you're leaning on him to be able to look after himself. There's a lot of things to protect on this comp is the way I look at. Quite a lot of mobility stats in there as well, so one thing to be excited about is that. But I hear our game is ready, so let's get into it. First game in this best of 3. There is only one map in Wild Rift at the moment. See how things play out from here then. And I'm keen to see how this mid lane shakes down as well, because it's Snitch picking up the Lucian in the mid to do duel with the Ahri.
Last time we saw these two match up, it was last month's June Origin monthly finals. And it was, I believe, Snitch who served as one of the biggest threats in NT's comp roster, rather. And meanwhile, for Team Keizo, they will heavily rely on their top and jungle duo synergy earlier on. So I assume Andre is going to try and visit Acolyte at topside.
But let's not forget as well, Doom kind of crafted a whole big change to, I don't want to say the meta, but in terms of popular picks, because he was picking up the Xin Zhao. We've seen Xin Zhao a couple of times today. Doom, I believe, was running things like the Sterix, the Trinity Force, the Blade of the Ruined King, and just melting faces. So much so that he's now kind of stepped into the meta. So, ladies and gents, you're looking at a meta creator here, if you want to call him that in Doom. Don't shout it too loud, though. His ego might not be able to take it. Top lane, already seeing a bit of a scrap between the two. More the trades we're so often used to seeing. This level 3 is about to hit here. It could be big for the Renekton. However, not quite getting that for the stun.
Yeah, both of these top laners are just gonna crack open their honey fruit and just gonna start with the duel once more. Level 3 is gonna be very important. We'll have to see how Acolyte will decide to play this because there's a difference in their partners, in their junglers rather. It is more likely for Andre versus Acolyte to succeed in a Graves versus Leon, I suppose.
Oh, on the bot side, though, it's going to be that Graves who's the Braum here being caught out. Doom flashing over the wall to try and go for the kill conversion, but the honey fruit just keeping him alive. Someone is being forced out of Memorized in their entirety, and Doom flashing forward. Maybe not the end of the world, but a good little bit of aggression being shown by No Team to begin.
Yeah, just a Clue's Ignite that will get baited out from NT. In the meantime, though, in mid.
This could be Snitch going down as well. Ignite comes out, forced to flash away. In comes Clue and Doom looking to catch onto Ruiz here. Flash Taunt comes in, the knock-up straight as well. Doom has enough damage to put him down in the dirt. The Ahri falling by the wayside. A great flash away, but the read coming in from Leon was absolutely beautiful. 2 kills to start off for No Team, No Life.
And they get a bonus blue buff as well, just to deny out away from Team
Riku.
Kesso.
I called them No Team, No Life because of our conversation earlier.
Oh dear, oh no.
Why have you poisoned my mind? Acolyte's being poisoned by the side of No Team, No Talent. That's their real name, as they call it. The third, maybe a little bit of an overhang coming out of Acolyte there. Why have you done this to me, Riku? I swear to God.
I don't know. Let's take a look at that again, because Ruiz was able to land that charm earlier and drop down the Ignite. So, but the unfortunate thing is, I believe they're still not prepared. I don't think Ruiz had Spirit Rush, so there was no way for him to escape after consuming a flash aggressively. But this time around, it's a different story. He is now level 5. And with that said, we'll have to see where the action is going to begin, because we know Clue is ready to activate his hero's entrance. So for now, Team Kesso should be a little bit too careful, especially if they want to go all in on Snitch.
Big one to watch out for Leon as well, because playing on that Gragas, you know that he can deliver that knockback when a team fight kicks off. So ideally, you're probably not going to see this Camille going towards the top side of the map. She'll be looking for it maybe in the mid lane onto this hyper mobile Lucian pick. Could even look towards the bot lane if they really wanted to. Good for locking down the Ezreal, for example, but you do have Stums to worry about down there at the very least. I think Ruiz for a second was looking at moving up towards the top side, but now in a big way pushing in. He's going to back himself away. Ultimate coming towards the top. Acolyte ulted back.
Wow.
And as if that connects as well. He gets the assist for it. Not bad, friend. Not bad.
That's a really beautiful pass, or alley-oop, I guess, to the True Shot Barrage. And you're right, it is an assist being secured by Friend. Yes, by Friend. Meanwhile, though, that is going to be an Air Drake started by Team Kesso versus 2 members coming from NT.
Yeah, I really can't imagine NT want to step in for this one as well. Looking at the team comp that stands before you, the CC, they've got the mobility that's there. Just not worth facing them down at this point. They let that one step away, whereas on the other side of the map, No Team, No Talent, they're stepping in for the Rift Herald. We spoke earlier on about that change, about the 4-minute spawn time now that comes in. Snitch looking to do some droning work. In comes the Camille. They want to fight for this one as well. They've got their ults on side. The ult from Galio coming flying in. Smite comes in. The Grey secures it. The gold and the buff in his back pocket. The rest being burnt through, though. Here comes the ult at the top of the Camille. She's staying as far back as she can so as not to get melted down. 2 kills coming in the way. Both going the way of Corki. That's what you want to see. Clue, the latest victim coming in. He's got no clue. Andres getting him down. Ooh. Snitch left alive entirely by himself. This should be the burn through unless he can find one more for himself. No, they shall not. A killing spree coming out for the Corki. Fantastic fight coming out of Keizo.
I believe that was a 4v5 situation, because all this time Friend was busy split pushing in the bottom portion of the map and wanting to get early turret platings just to make sure he is well equipped in the next fight. But the thing is, that is Ibu getting so many kills. He is, what, 301 already, and opting towards the Manamune path. In the meantime, let's take a look at the replay. It started pretty good, coming from No Team, No Talent. And with that, they did secure the Rift Herald, but at the end of the day, they weren't well equipped just yet. Look at Memorize doing a very good job just being that peeler and soaker basically for all the damage in the world coming from NT.
Said no team, no talent. That's it. We've restored balance now. We're getting the name right.
Yes,
And I promise
we are
we're
getting
going to
it
try
right.
our very best to stick to it the whole way through. I think that's one of those situations where if you're a friend, you look at that and go, guys, come on, I told you I wasn't coming. You knew I wasn't going to be there. And you give my opposite laner a triple kill. Fantastic. Man of Moon finished off for both of them now. Now looking towards those second items as they step on through. Elsewhere around the map, you're looking, for example, at mid lane. Bit of an advantage currently going the way of Snitch, who's finished off that Essence Reaver. Look towards the top side. A bit more of a kind of split, I guess, very even between the two. Well, not really very even between the two. Sorry, the Gragas currently stepping up at about 5k gold, turning into quite a scary tank as this mid-game progresses.
Yeah, that first Blood Tower really did put a bunch of gold in Leon's and Doom's pocket. And yeah, speaking of first item buys, we've managed to see our very first Navori's Quick Blades, I suppose, which is definitely more focused on the cooldowns. Every single critical strike, you're able to, reduce the cooldown of your non-ultimate abilities. So this is going to be, he's going to be more slippery, I suppose, with his dashes as well.
It's a big one for him, I think, because of the critical hits, of course, the increased shots coming out of the passive, for example. It just means he'll be an absolute mobile nightmare in these team fights, able to better look after himself, able to chase better, for example. Makes sense, but back on PC, like, just not really what you'd ever see a Graves building. Instead, going into towards things like a Cleaver, like a Sterix, maybe. Something more tanky, but here Doom's really going for broke and saying, right, I'm coming for you, be ready.
And it's just perfect, too, because there's Andre and Acolyte just hoping to get up close and personal, especially on these AD carries, but all of them has a form of a gap, well, not gap closer, but a mobility. There's an arcane shift, there's a dash from Snitch, and another dash coming from Doom. So this is going to be a little bit difficult to try and stick two targets coming from NT.
Like our Doom's just finished off the Zhonya's as well, so we spoke about that aggression coming out of the item, lacking any real HP or tankiness, but has the Zhonya's to help himself out when he gets a little bit too close. We'll keep a close eye on that build and see where else he steps with it, with the BS sword in the back pocket as well as the Brawler's Glove. We have an idea that's going yet towards more crit. And that's the thing worth mentioning about the AD items that have been introduced. They all still build around crit. I think Riot acknowledged that, crit is still going to be a massive factor here. So let's try and put it onto as many items as we can to make sure that that build diversity exists.
Yeah, that's true. I assume he's going to opt for more of those crits just to proc his first item pickup, which is the Navori's Quick Blades. And we'll have to see how that pans out. So far, though, Infernal Drake has spawned. So I think this is one of the juicy targets that both teams would want to secure. But so far, look at that. Ibu is on his way. He has his special delivery already.
Wonder if he steps in towards, maybe not. I think maybe a Bloodthirster if he really wanted to go down that path, but by the looks of it, no, because that now, of course, has 25% crit on it too. If they're coming out in the mid lane to try and force this focus here, a little bit of poke coming in from Ibu off to the side. The Drake now being started up. The question now comes in for Team K. Do they want to force this fight or focus on the mid? And they're going to ignore the Rift Herald in this case and say, yep, go for our tower if you want. We want this fight. They've called out immediately onto the man himself. Doom snatched out by the Ahri with the Taunt, and this should be easy for them to start burning through. Gigatanky Galio flew in the front line, soaking up tons of damage, but not enough being returned here. Keizo able to run through one, run through two. Can they find any more? The answer, apparently no. Now in control of Drake. The ult coming out from the Ezreal does bucket loads of damage. They're looking so low, but can they convert it into a kill? And without a jungler here, they can't steal this away. They'll try their best, but the Camille takes it, and now they come back in for the kills. The Taunt out of clue. One coming in, the 80s in the front line trying to do what they can, but no kills able to go down. Lots of poke, but no end product.
Ruiz's Proto Belt, one Spirit Rush to the Proto Belt, and then the Charm just to catch off Doom. And that was just so beautiful to watch because that equated into Team Kesso's second dragon in an Infernal at that, and they're going to be extra painful.
He's got the culling on side if he wants to try and burn through him. I don't think he will. Tower going down is going to be enough for them. Bit of tank coming out of Doom. And I thought Friend for a second, once he saw the Charm come out the hour, he might have tried to go for that kill there a couple of seconds ago, but alas, not to be. And here's the replay, Riku.
There's the really good Hero's entrance, at least, to the double man taunt. But at the end of the day, it was already too late because Doom was out of the picture. And it's a 4v5. It's a really good package to try and zone out the rest of NT. But then again, even if the dragon resets, we still have TQ having the numbers advantage in this fight.
Numbers advantage and the fact that the jungler there is the big one for me. I mean, Clue really did try his best to get in and make something happen, but we'll give it to him. Two really good charms coming out of Ruiz in that fight. Now it's Andreas being nuked down here as well. Even with the ult on side, you can't quite stop a death ball comp coming out from NT. And with all 5 alive, they're going to turn their attention here potentially in towards the Baron.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. If you want to target one person from NT, there's just a Galio that's going to greet you. Now, it's a 4v3 situation or 5v3 situation. We'll have to see how this pans out.
Acolyte with an early ult as well, start building up that Fury. Instantly interrupted by the Gragas, who gets to split apart. They do manage to collect the Drake. That's a Baron, sorry. Looks a bit dicey for a couple of seconds. The assist coming in. This could be an absolute cleanup. They're all still 5 alive, but health bars are going pretty low here for the side of NT. They collect yet another kill and walk away, all 5 alive. The Baron on side with 3 more kills in the back pocket.
That was a really good cast from Leon. It was that tool that was able to scatter TQ and not allow them to get a potential steal. But at the end of the day, it is Doom just securing that for themselves. And look at that. Let's take a look at the replay first before looking at their items. Again, the cast was just beautiful. And the numbers disadvantage just makes it so much harder for TQ to make something happen out of that fight. I mean, understandable though. Look at the low health target from the side of NT. It was extremely tempting.
I mean, that's it, right? You get so close that you just keep on getting baited in one at a time. It's like Hansel and Gretel leaving a trail of like, oh, look, a 380 carry you might be able to kill. Oh, sorry, there's 5 of us. No, you can't quite do that. Acolyte being dived by a Lucian is the most, I guess, epitomizing thing of this game when he's at 11k gold coming up against a Renekton with 7 right now. 1 item coming up against almost 3. Good luck.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic to look at, especially you are counting on Acolyte on this Renekton to be one of the answers, I suppose, to diving the backline. And at this point, there is Andre as well, at least. But at the same time, look at this. Baron buff already.
Oh, yeah, melted down the top lane here as well. Comes out with the ult to try and stay alive. Clue, once again, that stone plate keeping him pretty tanky in a couple of these fights, as we know. Big time damage reduction, but a hell of a lot of health being stats on side to make sure you're reducing and mitigating as much of it as possible. Turn into more of a skirmish than anything else. Snitch now pushing to look in, trying to get rid of that Renekton again. Bullying the Croc at this point, the Lucian doing so much work. And I think with the amount of poke they're taking down here, there should be no way that they're ready to go and contest this Drake.
Yeah, no fear coming from Snitch here. He is, again, has the dash, has the flash, and so far there hasn't been a threat to his life for the past 3 minutes or so. And it's due to the fact that, you know, NT is already in a 9k gold lead. Everybody pretty much having the time of their lives with 4-2-4, 4-1-3 for both Doom and Snitch. And it's just one of those questions where who can deal with these two? Especially you're heavily relying on Andre and Acolyte to do that job.
Yeah, I mean, your tanky frontliner here, you were looking towards maybe the Renekton to have some presence in the front line, but he stands there for more than 2 seconds. He's being melted, absolutely eviscerated by these 380 carries on the other side. And sure, we've seen Doom get called out a couple of times or get himself really in the mix of things, but Friend still hasn't died, so they've just only gone down once. Playing it safe enough, but still punishing enough that they can get up in the front line and do some real damage.
They wanted to... That's the thing. They, as much as they want to, you know, use the Hextech ultimatum and then maybe form a flank, they're just going to get greeted by Clue's taunt. And that's going to be an easy taunt because of, again, the way that they want to play this composition. And I think that's the reason why they're wary and hesitant. Look at Snitch, soloing the dragon. He has so much space.
I just don't care. No one really can contest him at this point. If we find the Camille trying to come in, guess what? It's probably not going to go too well. They take it away completely uncontested. Find themselves at a 2-1 Kaizo still. Big flash engage coming in. The cast coming out of the Gragas. Not quite as effective as they would like. Memorize with a great ult. Will keep himself alive here, but Kaizo scattered to the high winds. Find themselves fleeing the scene here as the pressure from NT continues. Now turning their attention in towards that Baron.
A really beautiful flash body slam from Leon there. Basically scared off TQ, but they were able to at least bait out Ebu's flash. Look at this death burst though.
Oh dear. Oh, the flash. There we go.
No.
We've seen that one before. The flash short. They missed the aura, but still managed to go down. Oh my god. Andre gets away. No way. Finally gets himself killed off by I think the red ticking away from Doom, or maybe it was the smite. I'm not quite sure. Either way, they're cleaning house. 2 go down. Can they find a third? Memorize. Got nothing left to his name. Good Sonya's coming out to keep Doom alive. They really want to go all the way for this one, but there is no need at that point. They found themselves 3 kills. Once again, not lost anyone. And now turn towards the Baron.
Yeah, they were falling. Team Queso were falling down like dominoes. It was basically cleanup. TQ, of course, didn't want to commit. They already lost the numbers advantage. The fact that Andre was the first one to fall off of that death brush, really nice setup. And that's the thing about this composition. They do have one form of disengage coming from Memorize, but the thing is, because NT has so much chase potential, it's so hard to run away from them. And here comes a death brush again. I mean, even though there was, that sweeper, it's still not enough with a flash taunt coming in from Clue.
They were lucky, I guess, that they didn't catch the Ahri wasn't caught out, at least at the initial point there as well. Potentially find herself going down. Did walk away alive, and I've got no doubt there'll be more scraps to come here. A little bit of a reset moment in the game as the side of NT back away, the Baron buff in hand, collecting up some buffs of their own here, buying up items. This is where they start going for the throw. This is where they look to close the game out, to get all three waves pushing in, get yourself some good pressure set up across the map, and away you go.
They're picking up more items, just as you mentioned. I mean, yeah, TQ is just forced to pick up the scraps from the base and play defense again. Good news is that they have really decent wave clear in the form of Ibu and the Corki, and as well as the Orb of Deception from Ruiz. But at the same time, they're just, again, triple AD carry. There's just so much damage on the board.
Absolutely being melted through. Even the Braum in the front line can do nothing but fall down. Oh, great catch on the Q from Friend. It's going to nuke his way through the second man on the side of Team Queso. They're all looking dangerously low at this point. And sure, they might be getting close to finding one or two back, but the Nexus is going to melt down. First game going the way of NT in style.
Yeah, with dominating, what a dominating statement there coming from No Team, No Talent. And it's starting to look like what we've seen in the last month's, grand finals of Group A. And it looked pretty good at the early game for Team Queso, but at the same time, the triple AD carry composition seemed like they had no signs of stopping.
Yeah, once Stitch got rolling, I think that was just kind of it at that point. He was going to power his way through. He's going to keep on tearing you apart in the mid game, and really the rest of the team rallied around him, and you saw how it played out, that mid Lucian being pretty terrifying. Let's take a look at a few highlights from the game. I'm sure Game 2 will be ready for us pretty quick as well. But I think for me, like you said, it was really about the early pressure coming out of Team Queso. It wasn't strictly bad, but this is where it all really kicked off, that kind of 2-3 man roam that just went from bot lane all the way up to top side. They killed the Renekton later as well. The sort of thing really that on Team Queso's side you need to be so aware of, because that early snowball can be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about, having an Ahri pick, whether or not the charm connects or not. When the charm doesn't connect, then you'll have to wait a little bit and exit and then just call it a day. And in the meantime, with this Camille and Renekton pick, it's again heavily reliant on the Renekton having to snowball, but Acolyte rather, didn't have the best game just because the rest of the squad coming from No Team, No Talent just created so much pressure. Therefore, Acolyte didn't have the necessary space for him to shine.
Scoundrel and Yuko were talking about it a little bit as well. The strength of the Corki that we've seen so far today has been one that we've been really keeping a close eye on. And I thought Ibu might really start to pop off after they found those 2-3 kills up on the top side of the map. But really the big turnaround, remember this fight being a bit of a scrappy one that was very back and forth between the two. It was kind of from this point onwards though where things really scaled away, and as much as you want to talk big about the Corki, you cannot ignore that mid lane Lucian, all the bonus XP that he was getting being in a solo lane, again really dragging them through the mid game.
Yeah, the carries had a lot of prime positioning to the point that they're always the ones left and they're ready to poke. And the Death Rush, just for, NT to secure this Baron. And at this point, TQ was heavily reliant on, Ibu with a 2-item power spike, Ruiz with possibly snowballing with this Ahri, or maybe even Acolyte. But those conditions at the first 10 minutes of the game weren't present, and therefore that's the reason why they struggled.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm told Game 2 is ready for us. So how about we just get into it? Let's go. Have a little bop in the middle of those breaks, can't we? Good little tune that plays out to get us ready and warmed up for game number 2. Not that first game didn't have us absolutely warmed up. No talent, no team, no team, no talent, no game, no team, no life, no whatever.
You got this,
we can be here all day. It's so back and forth all the time, isn't it? But either way, NT, the easiest ones to go for. We'll stick with that name for now. Very dominating performance from them after that mid-game point. Hit the triple AD carry comp, really shining through I wonder if this time around we see a bit of a different flavor coming out, because if there's anything you've got saved up behind the scenes, this is the time to bring it out.
Exactly. All the pressure is on Team Queso. Of course, they do want to make it back to top 2, fight and get the revenge up against Game Lord. And it's just one of those things where, of course, NT wants the same thing. Both of these teams were basically from the top 2 grand finalists from last month. And now, though, Akali being the first one to get banned.
And the Garen also following through not long after, same as we saw banned away in the previous matchup. So no real big surprises there coming out from either side. The Akali's always the interesting one, I think, because at least on blue side, you'll be the one that's picking it if it's left open. But maybe it's an understanding for Kaizo's side, they don't really have someone they're happy playing the Akali as much as, say, maybe NT would be. Seraphine, another ban that we've seen coming out. Ziggs, a similar story. So still following the same narrative as last time round.
Yeah, they want to take out options that would pair well with an Olaf if either NT would decide to play that as well. But of course, the Nami has been that second alternative to pick that synergizes well with an Olaf pick, maybe even a Lulu. In the meantime, though, Senna will be banned, and as well as the great neutralizers such as the Garen. I think NT, still no difference in picks, or bans rather.
Absolutely, that Camille, again, still going to be the first priority pick. Pretty quiet in the previous game, admittedly. Kaizo not quite able to utilize it the way that they would. And no surprises at all, we're going to see NT step in again and pick up that Gragas.
Now this is possibly where things can go different, or things can go the same. It could go the same, actually. Yeah. For TQ, either they'd want to take maybe the Graves for themselves instead, and then play the Camille up atop, but this time it's different. They can still opt for a double 80 carry comp, actually, with taking the Corki and the Galio as well, just being that heavy engage, and as well really strong level 5.
Really big fan, to be fair, seeing the Camille and the Galio together. It is the ultimate screw you tool. If you really want someone dead, they're going to struggle to do much about that. Again, the Gragas being on side does lessen the impact of the Camille ever so slightly. It's about the shape of this composite really starts to flesh out. It's going to be the Braum coming in place of the Galio that was taken away from them in the previous game. I still say overall that's a pretty good setup, because imagine Winter Spite lands onto someone's getting melted pretty fast.
Yeah, there's 3 melees on the board for TQ, so this is this is a prime time for the Braum and the Diana. This is an all-out big AoE clash from TQ. And from what I've heard, a reference from Otilus back in the Icon series, he calls this the Venn diagram combo.
The Venn diagram combo. I love it. Now, I never told you this because, admittedly, why would we have spoke about it before? Diana was like my go-to main on League PC. Played her all the way up through Diamond. Absolutely love playing her. She got a small little change, a kind of rework that came in as well. I've played her all the way through to like Master on Wild Rift as well.
Whoa.
I absolutely love her. She is so oppressive, especially in the right kind of comp. But one ult in a fight, if she arrives late, gets off on the flank and gets a big ult off the back of it, fight's done. Game is over. It could be the same story here. But of course, given NT's composure in the previous fixture, that's what concerns me ever so slightly. They should be very aware of that threat and know what the win condition is coming in from Kaizo.
Yeah, I think so too. You mentioned it's all about that composition to build around the Diana. It's possible. There's a Wukong, there's a Galio, and as well as a Camille. So I think this could be their time.
Could be their time. It could be the one. If they can fight this one back, then of course there is still one more to go. So lots to look forward to. Game is ready. So let's get into it and see how game number 2 in this best of 3 plays out, Riku.
I'll see what the setup is going to be. Of course, Acolyte will be at the top portion of the map.
She has no walk animation. She just glides through the map like I am God. Look at me.
It's like an invisible skateboard. I know.
Invisible skateboard sounds far cooler, to be fair. I won't lie.
It does. But this is the setup that they're going for. Yeah, I imagine level 5 will be super explosive. You've got the Cyclone, you've got the Moonfall, Hextech Ultimatum, and onto the hero's entrance. You can basically layer all these in no particular order, and I feel like it is going to work wonders. Of course, Ruiz will rely on the Cyclone for sure to get that set up on the board.
Yeah, you want to watch out for when that level 5 starts hitting. That's when you'll see the impact plays coming out. No, the Diana, the Wukong, and potentially the Camille all at once can have quite an impact in the river. I think what we've got to watch for a little bit earlier than that, to be honest, though, is going to be the river itself. We've consistently seen scraps coming through in there. Ruiz tanking up quite a lot of that damage with the shield. Of course, getting the refresh on the third proc of the orbs that orbit around Diana. This is what I like about her, at least in the early waves. You can push quite aggressively. And if he gets to level 3, you might find himself in a good couple of chances to have a go in on Snitch. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's true.
Early gank coming in. flash immediately coming out of Acolyte there. He knows that he's found himself a little bit too far forward there. Early red to top lane gank. Catch him off guard ever so slightly.
I think Doom's chances of getting a kill is most likely going to fall towards topside just because, you know, mid lane doesn't really have CC on the board to secure and try to punish out Ruiz unless he's overextended in the lane. So, you know, this Gragas will be your best bet with Leon, and I assume he will continue on with the pressure.
They could just pile in right here if they wanted to as well. The bot lane from Kai'Sa coming up to match as well. This is where we're going to see again one of these fights coming out. Immediately, the AD carries piling right in as well. Snitch doing work once more, gets first blood. That's not how you wanted this game to start. Andre also going down. It's going to be a kill going the way of the Braum here, so you're not going to be too upset about that one. The Diana also going down, chased out of the jungle. Beautiful start.
Yeah, you know, Ruiz just wanted to help out in that early skirmish by the Scuttler. But I assume it was Doom just cutting off her path to that fight. And it's Doom getting early kills, actually. It's in the Infernal Drake, too. So if ever NT managed to get a really good setup, they get extra damage so earlier on. Oh, he cancels the recall.
He's asked me cheeky here, poking. I'm going to pay for it with my life. That is the tax that may well come in. Can they finish off Memorize here? Flash forward. The snipe comes in from the side. You're going to be regretting that interrupt for a good while, buddy.
Yeah, that is something you definitely do not want. I mean, the plan was there, I suppose. Maybe get a revenge kill because they did an early reset. But at the same time, another kill coming for Doom. And meanwhile, Acolyte just trying to get a return, possibly, for that one plate.
Yeah. I mean, you'll take the one, a bit of gold that it gives you in the lane at least is a small advantage. Not huge, but it's something. Backs away here, being safe, obviously present of the fact that he may end up getting ganked from the side, as we saw coming out of Doom earlier on. He'd have a pretty big start to the game. And again, that's that pick that coming through just for an interrupt as well. You'll be ruining that for a while.
Yeah, pretty painful, especially when the kills go to... Actually, there was a cancel, but nothing actually pushes through. But here comes the level 5s. This is where we will think... this is where we'll expect, rather, of the explosive fights. But the thing is, we see a lane swap coming in, Snitch opting for another of that range versus melee matchup, and Leon being extra tanky. So this kill lane actually is getting cancelled.
I was about to say, I'm really nervous that he'd gone for the dash in there as well with the Braum just coming up from the side. Could have been relatively comfortable ult in for, say, Leon, bringing him back towards tower, and then piling in with the Gragas after, or piling in with the... Braum after, sorry, would have been enough to lock him down for a good few seconds. Not to be the case. Clearly they wanted to keep that one online for what has just spawned on your screen, the Infernal Drake. Let's see how this one shapes out. It is 4-0 to NT. They've got that 2,500 gold lead. They should have the damage to be able to deal with this. Ezreal ult swinging across, doing a bit of damage on towards Ibu, who doesn't want to go too aggressive at this point, but look towards the top of your screen. We aren't seeing Doom here just yet. He went back towards base. Big engage coming in. They're trying to combo it all together. It's not quite connecting the way they wanted. The damage onto Friend, barely even noticeable. They can start working their way back forwards. The light arrives, and finally, they'll turn it into a kill. Ibu on the back line. Stitch going in behind enemy lines to get the kill. It's a triple kill for Doom. Big ult comes out. They collapse and clap the hell out of the side of Team Kai'Sa. A quadra kill coming through. NT extending the lead even further.
Doom's double man collateral damage was definitely the highlight of that fight, and they get a bonus too with the Infernal Drake. These more kills going to Doom and Snitch so early, and this could possibly spin out of control. But speaking of spinning, we saw this setup coming from Andre, but we didn't get to see the layering of CC. It was a trickle of CC instead, and I felt like that's what happened. And of course, that's the highlight coming from Doom with an amazing collateral damage kill.
That one's definitely going into a YouTube compilation somewhere, or maybe even a few of them. Some that aren't even Dooms. Can't wait to see him. Either way, now we're looking up towards the top side. This Ripped Herald that came up at that 4-minute mark. They got rid of the Drake, of course, down the bottom, and now turn their attention up towards the Herald. No contest coming through from the side of Team Kai'Sa. With how this game's starting to snowball, this might be over before you can even blink, Riku.
Yeah, it's just looking to be a replay of what we saw in the June monthly finals, where it was no team, no talent that won 2-0 over Team Kai'Sa. Now, what are the options? Again, this is a team from Kai'Sa that has to fight as 5s, as 5v5. That is their strength. And again, it's gonna be reliant on execution of their ult and see if they can get the primary targets, mainly Doom and Snitch.
Even without the perfect one in the previous fight, right? Because we had the Wukong and the Diana going in together, and that was great. Then you looked on the other side of like Acolyte coming to turn up probably about 10 seconds into the fight, and sure, helps them convert it into a kill. I was speaking about the Diana flanks, at least into the kind of midpoint of a fight when everyone's cooldowns have initially been burnt, they're starting to recover again. That's when she can strike the most, but they were so keen to layer those things together, and it just didn't work the way they wanted.
Yeah, basically NT was primarily separated, so it's hard to pinpoint who you want to prioritize first. And I think that's what happened. Snitch was basically very, very deep into the backline of TQ. It's a very scattered fight in favor of NT. True-shot barrage, though.
I mean, we could follow that towards the eventual outcome of this fight, where more and more members are starting to die. They're going back in for an engage here. So they've got everyone on side that they need. In comes the Diana as well. Ult on side. Is he going to pop it out? No. Good knock up. And alongside the stone plate from the Brawn, barely any damage taken by him. And just between the two of them, they managed to push everyone back. Look towards the mid. Herald coming down. Double AD carry. That tower's gone.
Yeah, definitely. That is the first blood tower in favor of NT. And this is the power, by the way, of the double disengage combo of a Braum and a Gragas. You want to go all in? Their answer is no, with their ults like the explosive cask as well.
There we go. Ooh, trying to go for the catch, but Acolyte dashing away just in the nick of time. Not quite getting himself CC'd up, otherwise Friend would have been right in there, giving him a firm handshake, as any Friend would, and absolutely collapsing him out. Up towards the top side, the pressure is still mounting. So even though they're playing in this split push scenario, still tons of pressure coming out of the side of NT.
Yeah, Doom just trying to make sure to auto-attack the tower. I suppose it is a little bit of a struggle as Graves, so you might get aggroed. But in the meantime, though, it is still pretty much NT's game. 5k gold lead already. And so far, we've seen Team Kesso actively looking for opportunities while the laning phase is somewhat intact. They wanted to get the numbers advantage, and right now, that could be the case.
Absolutely, another fight towards the top side here. 2 low health members for TQ going to get absolutely eviscerated. Snitch, low HP, but I keep on speaking about the mobility of this triple AD carry setup they've got. It's just so hard to lock any individual member down, because you know that if you catch Snitch, you've got Doom who's going to melt through you. You get rid of Doom, you've got Snitch, and you've got Friend who can do some work. And even if you get close enough in the first place, the disengage coming out of Leon, the stun that he's got, the ult coming out of Clue, it is so hard to lock this team down when they're ahead. If they were behind, very different conversation, but because they are ahead, they are almost impossible to stop.
Exactly, they have to commit more resources just to lock down either Doom or Snitch, and by that time, they will lose more of those key ults to focus down either Friend or Snitch, possibly. So this is a real struggle. They really have to win. They have to set up a fight where they have the numbers advantage for them to win. In a full 5v5, Snitch and Doom are just 2 ahead. Let's take a look at that again. It is the attempt, Snitch getting the Hextech ultimatum. But look at Doom. He was pretty sneaky. He was hiding in the brush all this time. They were setting up this bait for, Team Kesso to bite on.
Just absolutely collapses on them. Yeah, and even with that full committing to try and get rid of Snitch, still can't do it. You've got to kill 380 carries, as we mentioned earlier on. But I'll give it to Doom as well, by the way. Xin Zhao in the last tournament, we saw him kind of pulling that out. This one, the Grays in both games, and showing just how impressive he can be with those Navori Quick Blades. Scary, isn't it, when you think about it?
It is.
The trendsetter.
It is. He is the trendsetter. I assume, I'm looking forward to, the Wilder Ficon series as well. Seeing the Graves, from Doom's build right here, as well as the Solari Charge Blade. So this is, he's definitely very, very painful with the Radiant stacks coming on.
He's having a lot of fun is the way to look at it, okay? He's having fun. When you're having fun, you can't lose, apparently.
Yeah, NT really at the top of the charts for sure.
Oh, Leon, he doesn't care. He's like, okay, I'll just walk through you guys. No problem. Got the stone plate on side. I got 4 of you. Oh, I'll tank the lot. I'm just kidding. Please leave me alone. No, sorry, I'm going to have to die now. That's one of their big tanky members gone out of the fight. That's one thing you do not want to be losing at this point. But the kite backwards, Clue, the man in the front line. Look at the health bars eviscerate as these 380 carries go to work. Diana does something, but it's not enough. They've melted through them. And just like that, even in a 4 versus 5, they've got themselves the clean ace, losing only Leon in the process.
And you'd think Team Kesso could have won at least, especially after getting that 4v5 situation. But the thing is, Doom Snitch are just so far ahead. Even looking at Snitch fighting from the Dragon's Pit, no one can reach him. Let's take a look at that again. It all started as they poured all their resources against Leon. So what is left? You still at least have the hero's entrance. It felt like they could have had the advantage because it was a 5v3 situation. But look at Snitch. He can attack from the Dragon's Pit with the culling. And Doom is just godlike, using a flash very aggressively. And Acolyte, unfortunately, couldn't get the hook shot out to escape, and he fell to his death as well.
Man, just Clue being in the front line there as well, following them all inside of that red jungle. Absolutely beautiful. Really letting Friend and Doom get to work and doing what they do best, which is absolutely nuking kids from the high heavens. Now on the 3 items, that IE on side for the Graves is going to be stacking so much crit at this point. Lots and lots of buckshots coming out as you step through all these blasts that will be firing away. You might even find at one point here, given the, I wouldn't say heavily limited amount of damage coming out from AP-wise, because of course Corki is split and Diana's now got 2 items on board, the Rower straight into the death cap. He can basically tank away with that true grit and not really have any big worries, I don't think. Acolyte, the latest victim for Stitch. Easy pop down. Leon for there, just in case he needed a little bit of help.
Yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's Team Queso at least having all the damage department covered from AP to AD, but at the same time, it's just NT getting such a huge lead. This snowball is happening already. Even split. Oh, look at all their 2 carries focusing on the Baron, and meanwhile, split push is happening on bot.
Yeah, Maeve finding himself getting burst out here as well, but again, it's Stitch, man. He'll just kite away all day. Has a little bit of support from the Gragas here. Can he go? Oh my god, he 2-shots that Corki. See you later. Good night. Sleep tight, my friend. The split is well on the go here. They've already found themselves chewing through 2 members. Ibu and Andre completely removed. Ruiz, the next one here, getting called. It's called the culling for a good reason. They burst their way through, and like that, Snitch has basically gone on to win in the game. The Baron on side, the towers fall all around them. All that stands left is the Nexus to prevent NT walking away the winners of this series and walking into the grand finals. That's absolutely going to be the case. They collect a couple more brownie points, a couple more kills to come through. The Nexus will fall. Your champions for today, at least in this best of 3, will be NT as they go on to face Game Lord tomorrow in a best of 5.
What a clean 2-0, triple, not double 80 carry composition, but a triple 80 carry composition. They're able to adapt to the patch 2.4 so beautifully, and as we've seen in this BO3 series up against Queso.
It's unbelievable, honestly. That triple 80 carry comp bullied people. The patch has barely been out 24 hours and Doom's like, I know, they've already equipped Blaze Graves. That's the one. We're going to play that and we're going to show him what for. And he's done a wonderful job of it as well, leading it into the charge blade as well, like you mentioned. The man's looked at it and just gone, I know exactly what I need to play here, and it has worked wonderfully. This really sets us up tomorrow for an exciting best of 5 as well, because seeing that comp, Game Lord have got to look at that and start thinking, ooh, this could get dicey.
I know. It's just one of those things where they've really adapted really quickly. It's a different path as well for Doom, rather for a Graves. Just as you mentioned, it's all about, the cleaver, maybe the Sterix a little bit, but this time it's just stacking those crits and proccing the passive of Navoris.
Well, if you guys want to see what a slaughter looks like, look no further. We've got a highlights package to show you some of the top moments from that game, and no surprises to anyone, they're all going to come from No Team, No Talent.
Yeah, it's definitely an attempt from Team Queso to, just capitalize on the composition that they had. But of course, we're looking at the highlights from today. It is going to be Sunlight getting that revenge up against Cut from earlier, making it a different story for Group C. But for Group A rather, it seems to be a replay of that 2-0 from what we've seen in last month's Grand Finals.
That's the truth, right? Group C was pretty close. All 5 games in a best of 5 final. Really exciting to see. Whereas the following 2 games in Group B and Group A, both 2-0s. So setting us up for some really good best of 5s tomorrow. I do wonder if we follow that trend and tomorrow has 2 full 5-game best of 5s. That would really take the biscuit.
I know. I mean, as we slowly went through this, the lower bracket finals, there has been a couple of picks that were continuing to shine. Maybe some picks that weren't exactly as strong as we expected to be, like Renekton has fallen off, and the Sin Zhao continue to shine. And then we got to see the Graves twice or thrice actually tonight in the jungle with the new item picks, new items coming from 2.4.
Interesting you think about it as well. We had more games in the first series than we did in the second and the third one combined. That's just how quick they went on and how long that first one was. Here, stepping into that second series, That 2-0 probably surprising a lot of people with football is 2-0ing Na'Vi.
Yeah, this was an incredibly exciting fight. I mean, Na'Vi was so close, especially they came from 11th place and now jumping into that 3rd, 4th from the lower bracket. But this time around, we're looking at the last series. The double collateral damage from Doom was just so good.
This is that fight again that I was on about as well, with Clue being the only front line. Beautifully played. Really can't wait to speak to some of the players about this one and understand just how oppressive they find this to be, because truthfully, absolutely ludicrous. Really bullying the team with that triple AD carry comp. Love to see it and hope we get to see a bit more of it tomorrow.
Yeah, same here. Maybe a couple of new picks, maybe a couple of new item builds, because we've seen how Corki would, we've seen 3 different item builds today. Maybe it stabilizes a little bit more tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's have a chat with Leon, I believe it is, coming in from the winning team from NT. Let's have a chat with him and see what he thought about this series, and of course a bit more of a chat as well. Leon, congrats. That was one hell of a masterclass from you boys. Came in expecting that, or a bit easier than maybe you first thought it would be?
Honestly, I think we were a bit nervous because this series was really important to us. Especially me. I haven't played a lot lately, so I was scared that I would underperform, but we came on top and it was great. I'm super happy, and I was just screaming out my lungs when we were just winning. And I mean, honestly, Doom's got to be the greatest player to ever play this game, man. This guy is so good. He's
that guy
so
is
good.
Graves. Oh, he's the innovator, right? Because we were saying, like, last month it was the Xin Zhao, and he was like, watch this, I've got a surprise for you boys. Then this month it's the Graves with the charge blade and the Vori quick blades. Is he really kind of in the last 24 hours gone, boys, I've got it. Graves with these 2 items is the play. Is that how it works out, or tell us about that?
Honestly, me and Snitch is just the one speaking on voice call, and Doom is just not saying anything. He's just killing everybody. And then in the middle of last game, Dyna died for some reason, and we were like, wait, Dyna is dead. What happened? And Doom was like, I killed him. And I'm like, okay, when did this happen? Like, I'm super confused. Like, I don't know. It was crazy. I just felt like I was getting carried. It was super great.
I mean, on your side as well, so give full credit to you and Clue as well. You were being the tanks at the front line, right? And you had like one moment in that whole series I could point out and go, how on earth has he died there? What happened in the bot lane? Were you supposed to find getting engaged coming off there, or what led to you being isolated for the team to then clean up afterwards?
I don't recall when that happened.
I think one of the final fights.
I think
you
it's
got
one of the
caught out
last
by
fights.
the tower, right?
Yeah. I think the plan was initially to me to go help Snitch, like if they wanted to engage on him. But then I didn't expect everybody to be there down there. But I think it was all right in the end, because I think Camille used ult on me, and Wukong also ended up using ult later on. But they had to use a lot of resources to kill me. Obviously, I was out of position, but I guess my teammates just pulled through at the end when they kept chasing them. And I mean, I think Doom just killed everybody in that team fight. And I think Snitch just ulted over the wall, and Clue got like a 5-man knockup, or 4-man knockup with his ult on Braum. And Ezreal, was it Ezreal? Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know.
You're like, I don't know what we were playing.
Dude, I was so happy. I was so confused. I don't even remember what happened. I just know that Friend is hitting every single ultimate in the game. I don't know what's happening. My teammates are crazy good. Like, I'm just getting carried over here, man. I'm super happy. Like, I don't know.
Hey, man, I'll play Gragas. I'll play a tank. You guys just kill everything. That's totally fine by me.
I hate playing tanks. I feel like I'm doing nothing. I'm just standing there doing no damage. But I guess I'm just tanking a little bit.
No problem at all there, right? Now, we've got to talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow's the big one. You guys come up against Game Lord. What are you thinking for that series?
Honestly, last time, I don't know what we expected last time we played against them, but we did end up losing 2-1, I believe. It wasn't that close the last game, so I don't know. I think we're a bit nervous, but I think we'll come prepared, and hopefully we'll come on top.
Well, you've got Dr. Doom on side. Give him another 24 hours. I'm sure he'll have found another 3 champions that you can play after 2.4 that are going to be utterly busted. So I'm sure he'll have a good little run away with that one. Any questions on your side, Riku?
Well, I just would like to say congratulations again, and I just want to ask, what do you think are the biggest differences coming from, June to July, as far as the team is concerned?
As far as the team is concerned, I'm actually not sure. I don't feel like we've changed that much. Like, I feel like we're all like really just good friends, and we just play together for fun mostly. But I mean, obviously we're competitive and we want to win. But I think what's important is that we have like a very friendly environment in our team, and it's been that way like since the beginning. And I think it's just very healthy for us. I don't think there's anything that's changed that much. We just play for fun and hope for the best, I suppose.
Oh, that's
Fair
really
enough.
great.
Fair enough. I saw a few in chat saying that Garen ban was 100% coming from you, right?
And you know, every time I play against Garen, I do fine in lane. I might die, but that's fine. You know, good death. You know, but I always end up like, I don't know. I feel so useless. This champion is so tanky. I can never kill him. Like he just one shots me when I'm half HP. I don't know. Like I hate playing against champion. I don't know what to pick against it.
Yeah, so I often hear he is very, very incredibly annoying, but the
pure
ban
pain.
clearly worked. It's pain. It is.
It's pain.
Hey,
But
we've been banning
you've
it every
overcome the
single
pain.
tournament. Yeah.
Hey, look, if
Yeah,
that
you've
works
become
out,
the
that's the
pain.
way it works out. So look, before I let you go, Leon, anything you want to say to the many thousands of adoring fans out there, I'm sure.
We just want to thank the fans for tuning in. You know, we're doing our best. You know, I might embarrass myself a couple of times on stream. You know, do some pretty bad flashes here and there. But you know, if we come on top, it's just great. You know, we just do our
That's
best.
where the memes come from. That is where the memes come from. Well, I hope we get many more bad flashes and interesting moments tomorrow from you guys. I'm really looking forward to that best of 5, mate. Go and have a good evening. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
You too. Thanks so
Good
much.
luck.
I love him. He's so bouncy and excited. That's what I love from
Yeah,
players.
he
There's
is.
passion that's built in there. It's like, we won it, bro. My team is so good. I did nothing and they carried me. Like,
Yeah.
amazing.
That was a really, really. He's very cool. Leon's very cool and very
What a
bubbly. Looking
What a
forward to
guy.
his play some more. Maybe he plays something, maybe not a tanky champion this time around for tomorrow. Maybe.
This is where Dude goes, right, so we're running triple AD carry every single game tomorrow, and he goes, okay, I guess I'm just useless then. Guess I'll die, but hey, we'll take it. That's not a problem. Let's take a look then at our brackets, by the way, as we come towards the end of our playday, starting with the game that you have just seen, Game Lord versus No Team, No Talent, or if you were to ask me or Riku the name, I'm pretty sure we'd tell you it's No Game, No Life at some point. Those two face off tomorrow in a best of 5 to declare the winner of this group. Let's take then a look at lower bracket as well to see how things worked out through there, because as you just saw a second ago, No Team, No Talent, 2-0 their way through Team Kaizo, making it look easy and earning themselves a spot in the upper bracket. Crossing Group B, we had a bit of a surprise with Na'Vi losing out against Footballists, who move up to play against Unicorns of Love in a best of 5 tomorrow. Was that one a surprise to you as well, do you reckon, Riku?
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi just really came close to getting to that top 2 spot, considering that they came from 11th last month. So it is a huge jump for them. But at the same time, UOL may aim to be first once more this July, but maybe we get to see an upset tomorrow because it's a best of 5 this time around.
And of course, those two groups do have their best of 5s tomorrow. Then Group C ended today with that first best of 5 going to all 5 maps. Fully recommend you go back and watch at least the first game because it'll whet your appetite to watch the next 4. Phenomenal game between Cut and Sunlight. The rivalry there will continue for a long, long time. Of that, I am very sure. Now, all that's left to forward to them, Riku, is tomorrow. Again, we've got 2 best of 5s coming up tomorrow for you between Group A and Group B. After how good today has been, those 2 games, as much as it was a fast 2-0, really entertaining to watch. That first best of 5, incredible. I've loved every second of it.
Yeah, same here. I feel like we could possibly see another close BO5, perhaps, especially again, this 2.4 patch has definitely molded the meta. And a lot of these teams at the top 2 for each group has been adjusting really, really well.
Doom's a little bit ahead of the curve, I think, but I'm sure in the next 24 hours, you'll see a few more players pick up some interesting tidbits from 2.4. Maybe tomorrow, that creativity really will fly. We've had a wonderful time tonight. We hope you guys have enjoyed watching the show all the way through. Lots of intense games and lots more to come tomorrow from myself, Riku, the production team at Scoundrel, Yuko, and everyone else involved in this project. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for another excellent play day of the Origin series. See you later.